All right, Mark, is it gonna start?
I hope so.
That's about how much brake cleaner it had in there.
And hello everybody, this video has taken at least a month or two to put together. It's kind of a little bit of a random like mashup of things, but what we're doing is we're doing Drift Week 7 and we're bringing over Naoki Nakamura, and he's going to be driving two Lone Star Drift Week cars that I have, my old competition like S13 that I did D1 and FD and all this other stuff in, and also a 350Z so that we make sure we have something really reliable for him. We wanted a right-hand drive car and then also a 350Z so we could show off. We've been building the right-hand drive car. Everything was going amazing. You're going to see a complete disaster in this video, and it's been really hard. But I would just want you guys to know that to like pull this Drift Week off has been insane. We have to build two cars, paint them, make them look like his cars and make them believable, do liveries, transport them across the country, get Nakamura over here, book all the tracks, me pre-drive everything in between, making sure everything's great, planning everything, get sponsors, book tons of drivers. We still have 2 driver spots open, by the way, that I was holding back. Build rental cars for people. We have a small rental car fleet so people from around the world can come in and drive as well and not have to like buy cars. Just so much freaking stuff going on, and it is so over the top doing this, and plan out parties, and we're doing like a derby endurance race where we Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace cars, and we have a bunch of teams doing it at Chris Finch's personal track that he's bought and still hasn't been built yet, but we're doing it in dirt flavor. Anyway, so much stuff going on, and this is just a small sliver, and I wanted to share it with you guys because this has been gut-wrenching and taken us completely over budget what happens in this video. But Mark has been building the cars, and we had huge drama during this, and you'll see what I mean. It set us way back. This stuff was supposed to be done a month ago, but let's get started.
So it is 3 in the morning. The engine's in, it runs, it's got the oil cooler. I had to order a radiator because mine didn't fit, but it does, well, it will hopefully be here later today. And everything looks nice and tidy. I like it. I do need to sort out some wiring. This is an oil pressure gauge that I was making sure this thing had oil pressure before I killed it. But the problem I've been dealing with for the last couple of hours is overthinking this situation. As you can tell, there is no room there. Actually, it kind of looks like there is in the camera, but there's not. There's maybe 3 inches from the firewall to the back of that head, like if that, maybe 2.5. So I had to make a clutch pedal. So I've been in here trying to figure out a solution for mounting one, and I thought I had it. I went, cut like a plate, mounted everything, and then I realized like, oh, there's a steering column that has to go here and has to mount right there, and I was in that direct path. So that wasn't gonna work because the Willwood setup I have is just a straight pedal. There's no curve, where the factory one comes down, curves over, and connects. So I overthought it, and then finally I was just like, there's got to be a simpler solution. So I'll just go for it. That's usually what I do when I'm trying to fab something or figure something out and I think about it too much. I just go with my gut and see where it leads me. Well, my gut led me to this thing. It looks kind of janky, I know. But what I found out is that the center pin on the factory pedal with the bushing is the exact same size as the Willwood pin. So my plan is, I've got part of it is the pedal. The factory pedal is going to come through here and sit right in this spot. I'm going to sandwich this guy, so the bolt's going to go through the factory mount just like it normally would, and through this guy and through the arm. Oh, I took the light. Anyways, gonna go through the factory point right there, and then I have to just make a forward mount. The pedal's gonna sit right where it's supposed to, basically, factory. And I solved my problem. What I'll probably end up doing is just coming off of these bolts, or one or both of them, to mount the front of this thing, or maybe a plate off the front of it to come up to something. This thing should be, I gotta paint this still, but this thing should be at the event this weekend. I don't know if this is gonna get posted before the event. I highly doubt it, because I am stressed to the max, along with Aaron, on making Drift Week stuff happen, making event stuff happen. The circle track car is outside. There's the nose of it. I have to pull the body off of it because it's not going to be ready in time for us to take to the LZ Invitational, and Aaron wants to take that. But before we can take it to the Invitational, we have to test it. And before we can test it, I had to get it running again because it's been sitting there for, I don't know, a couple months without running. But if you're at the event, look for this thing. Hopefully it's there. So I realized in the last clip, I didn't really talk about what's left to do on this thing. It is the morning of Tuesday morning. But like I said, the engine's in, it runs, the transmission's in, it's got fluid, the engine's got fluid, well, it's got oil. I still need to do the radiator. I still have to figure out an intake. This thing still needs to be tuned, probably. I have all of the brakes are disconnected still. I have to do that. So everything's there. I just have to finish it out, bleed them. I have to bleed the clutch after I get it made. I have to finish the wiring. I have to get a seat put in it. I have to get the dash put back in it. And then one of the most important things is I don't have a fuel tank yet. I currently dropped it off last week to get it fixed. Haven't heard anything. I need to get with them later today and figure out if it's fixed or if I need to find a fuel cell. I just got my other axle for this side. The other side I still need to pull apart and reboot, but I had to order the boots. Those will be here tomorrow. And I had to take the flange off of the diff and get that thing trimmed down and drilled out to fit the sway bar and the new drive shaft that I have, which again I had to get another joint because the one that was on it was a 27 spline instead of a 31. And then of course this is bigger than this, so I had to go get a U-joint that made it all one thing. So I got a couple of them in case anything happens. I had to make spark plug wires. Those are done. It sucks that I'm not gonna get to use this thing. It looks really good. Oh, okay. I'm gonna get to work and stop talking. All right, it is time to leave. I think it's almost 6 o'clock now. And the clutch was a little more of a pain than I expected after I last did this video, but it is in there. Factory pedal. The Willwood is mounted. I had to do something I really didn't want to because I had nowhere to mount that was higher. I had to cut a hole in the dash. There was already some holes, but like, I really didn't want to do that. Here we are, still Tuesday. I got some sleep, and boom, Drift HQ came through and got me this thing right away. I ordered it like at 3 o'clock yesterday, and they were able to get it to me today. So it's super exciting. I've already started test fitting it and cutting. Fits perfect there. I just need to weld this seam back up, put my plate down, brace it, and then make some standoffs for it. And this thing will be good to go. What's up, guys? So it is 6:30 on Thursday morning. We're trying to leave tomorrow for the event. And this thing is still not done, but I made a lot of progress thanks to True for helping so far. He helped me get the steering column in and attached. We got all the clutch stuff done. I'm trying to bleed it right now, but it's really being a pain in my ass, so I'm gonna deal with that later. The seat's not mounted yet. The handbrake's not mounted because the seat's not mounted, so I can't mount the handbrake to figure out where it needs to go. I need to get a shifter for it so I know if that's gonna work out or not. But The only thing missing from the bay is the steam port line. Everything else is here. There's some wiring missing, but we're not gonna worry about that. We'll handle that later today. The fans need to be wired up. I spent 2 hours the other night making spark plug wires, and I'll never do that again. I absolutely hate it. It was the worst thing ever. The belt's on. The power steering reservoir's in there with all the lines running to where they need to go. I didn't put a power steering cooler on it. We're gonna test it, see what it does. I'm sure it'll need one, but it's easy. I can just take that one line and run it up here to the front, cut it to whatever length I need it, and then run another one over to wherever it's at. And it's that simple. It's done. It doesn't have an exhaust on it. I need to figure that out. I was hoping that exhaust would fit on it off of the S13 Telecox car, but it doesn't. It's maybe close. I couldn't tell by myself. Yeah, there's a bunch of garbage in here still. Hard to tell, but the handbrake lines are done. They're routed. Just waiting on the handbrake. Sway bar, waiting on some brackets to show up. So it may or may not have one this weekend. The rear's all done. The Z diff is in it. Yeah, you can't really tell. The Z diff is in it. It's not shimmed, but it is an LSD, so that'll be fine for the weekend. The gas tank showed up today, so that's in there. True helped me wire that up. Well, put it together, not really wire it up yet. He will help me wire it up though. ECU. Anyways, I'm rambling. I'm dead tired. Yeah, like I said, it's Thursday morning. I've been getting here at like after summit runs and part runs before I come in. I get here probably like 4 or 5, and then I work and work and work until we go to dinner. Sometimes Aaron will come up here and we'll go to dinner. After that, I get right back on it. So realistically, I'm putting in probably 12 to 14 hour days to finish this, which may not sound like a lot to guys who work that stuff all the time, but it's taxing, especially after coming from Drift Week and working all of Drift Week. So, and building 5 cars before Drift Week. Anyways, I'll try to keep an update going. Getting 86 psi of fuel pressure, it says.
Oh, that seems like a lot. I don't think that's accurate. All right, that's good enough for me. Let's get water in it, and I'll plug into it maybe.
So I don't know what time it is, but me and True have been here all night doing all of the wiring, clutch bleeding, seat mounting, engine stuff. I'm pretty dead, but the car runs. It's about to drive. We're putting the handbrake in right now, and then it's going over to the dyno to get tuned, and then I'm going to load it in the trailer and drive it this weekend, hopefully. Friday night. I am here to load the circle track car and the trailer and take off to Houston to test. And as you can tell, the car is still on the lift. Well, I shouldn't say still. It's back on the lift. Me and True pulled an all-nighter last night to get this thing ready. It was a lot of work. Everything was good. We got it out on the dyno. You know, we got the seat mounted, the hydro, everything was nice. It was working. I built an exhaust for it out of scrap stuff we had around the shop. But unfortunately, there was other plans for it. So not entirely sure what happened. We were coming down from a pool, so it wasn't even on throttle, but the transmission yeeted itself. Either the U-joint bearing cap broke and somehow fell out, causing it to break. Oh, it did tear that guy. But that's not the worst of it. Transmission is gone, but so is the motor. That is a head bolt. So whatever happened was enough force to like jerk the transmission over, and it ripped this corner out where the starter is, so it broke the engine, broke the transmission, and broke my starter. So this will not be making it to the event this weekend, but we'll get something figured out that will be ready for Drift Week. So what's up, guys? It's currently the middle of January. Drift Week starts in the middle of February, and it has been a month since I've talked about this car or really done much to it. Some stuff did get done. I started mounting the hood and the headlights. I'm waiting on fenders to show up. I did get some rear fenders, and I need to, like, I'm in the process of mounting those. Got the interior mostly cleaned out of all the junk and painted. Just like all this was unpainted from installing it. I made a nice little dash. I do have the whole dash of the car in. I made a mount for the dash is what I made. I've got the taillight stuff started. I need to do that side and finish the wiring up there. I've got some LRB panels for back here to just kind of make it a nicer experience inside. This thing is getting just some exhaust stuff fixed. Someone didn't put it back together correctly, and it's had a really bad exhaust leak for a while. But the main thing of this video is there's been some progress on that car's motor. Luckily, we have some awesome friends, and we had someone who was like, I can get you one in like 2 weeks from scratch, build it however you want. So that saved us a big headache of trying to find somebody who could do it in a time frame and without spending $20,000 on like some big Texas speed thing. This car got painted. Just put the bumpers on it. Picked it up from paint without the bumpers. It looks pretty good, I think. I can't wait to see it in vinyl. And here it is. This is the motor. So we got a LS3 that is stroked. I think it's bored too, I guess. I don't know if you bored it too much over or what the deal was, but it is now a 6.8 liter instead of a 6.2. Got a nice fancy dampener on it, which we didn't have before. It's funny, it's got the same valve covers. LS3 intake. And this thing is going in the car this week. So I did some work on the interior. Got that dash mounted up on a nice little tripod. It's attached to the column, so when you column up and down, it'll move with it. And that's at its highest point, so it's never gonna run into anything, at least not majorly. I wish these holes weren't here. I wish I didn't have to make that hole up there. The seat is ready to go in, it just needs a thing. Harnesses need to go on. I need to find a passenger seat for this side. I have the wiring nicely loomed and tucked, and I wanted it to go underneath this panel, but the panel sits flat, so that didn't work. So I had to run it over that, cut a hole through there. Cut a little hole for the brake line to come through because I have the hydro ran through there. And you can see a line right there, and it goes out the sides. But I'm pretty happy with that. I need to clean up a little bit. Need to add a battery tie down inside here. I have everything, I just need the rods. We got the wiring nicely done and strain relief stuff tied up. Got the taillights all loomed and wired in. Brake lights work, taillights work, turn signals will work. They're wired in, they just need to be on a switch up there. There we go. When the trans broke, it whipped the drive shaft around and snapped this dude in half. So I ordered a new one of the brackets. As soon as that gets in here, I just need to remove it from this one, bolt everything to that. The panel's all there. I need to mount the actual panel right here so you can start it. Hook up some wiring to the ECU that's tucked up there. Add that kill switch up here somewhere that's easily accessible. Alright guys, so I've procrastinated enough on this car and doing everything else. It's time to pull the motor. It makes me sad to even think about what happened to everything. Engine is out. Got what was left of the bell housing off. God, that's loud. Got it off. And, oh, I set it over here. Chunk of the block. Right there. Head bolt, just chilling. More broken block there. It's broken all the way up there. It's broken at the head surface. So like, there was absolutely no chance of reusing this block. Despite what people said about welding it, it's pretty well fucked. Yeah. So, but I'm pretty sure it's just all in the water galley here, and this head bolt will be, I mean, not reusable obviously, but it'll be fine. Like this whole area, the head should be okay. So just get another block, swap everything over eventually, have this as a spare, or put this one in another car.
And huge shout out to everybody who made this possible, from Mark for doing all the work, to the sponsors who helped, and mostly to Chris Finch over at Just Racing, the machine shop. We couldn't find any crate engines in the United States that were acceptable to use for this because we just wanted a crate engine. And we hit up Chris and he said, I can do one better. I'll build you something amazing, because this motor is going to go probably into one of my cars after it's done with the Nakamura car, because this whole project is being done in my old comp car, which is now Mark's car. So it's complicated, so this motor will go into my stuff. I'm super lucky. Chris made all this possible, so huge shout out to Just Racing. Thank you so much. It's going to be a testament to, like, if anything can live through Nakamura's abuse, so I really hope this engine is going to fit the bill, and I'm confident, and I didn't want anybody else to build this thing, so thank you so much, Chris. And thank you to all the sponsors, thank you to all the drivers. This is going to be such an over-the-top drift week. I am so freaking excited to do this. We do have 2 people that had to cancel, so if you'd like to join us, I do have 2 spots available. I'll be filling those spots in the next week or 2. I'm going to do a bunch more applicants and see how it goes. And thank you to so much everybody, like everybody watching this, doing everything. We're so tired. We're so worn out. It's been such a crazy couple years doing drift weeks, the invitationals with LZ, the drift parties, going around the world. Thank you so much, everybody. Bye.